Hi, I'm Debbie Nigro, Chief Executive Girlfriend, FirstWivesWorld.com, and back with me by my request, because I think she's one of the smartest girls I know, Manisha Thakor, author of On My Own 2 Feet, A Modern Girl's Guide to Personal Finance, all the way from Houston, Texas. Welcome.
Anything to be near you, Debbie.
Thank you. Welcome. Manisha has a huge background and experience in the financial services industry. I asked her today to speak to a topic that I think is important to my group of girls, how to make sure your next relationship doesn't hit choppy financial waters, which means, you can find a new, hot, fabulous guy. When do you start talking about the money issue, which is the number one reason why people have problems in the first place and break up?
It is, and one of the things that I find so fascinating is when a woman comes out of a bad relationship and meets somebody new, what is the first thing that your girlfriends start saying? They ask if you're physically compatible or emotionally compatible or
no, they go, do you have any money?
Exactly, but they don't ask about the meatiness part of whether you are financially compatible, and it's
right.
hugely important.
What's he do for a living? Is he secure? So I think after the first time, you may not have asked the same questions, but when you go for a second relationship, it's probably a little bit more important that you get down and dirty right at the beginning and realize if this is a good relationship or a good fit for you financially. And that's really critical, yes?
It really is. And it's not the second date, it's not the third date, but when you think this is somebody that you might want to have a significant future with, that's the time to bring it up.
Okay, so where are you when you're asking these questions? Where is the setting?
It can be anywhere that you feel comfortable. I think the most important thing is that you look each other in the eye and you bring it up in the context of the relationship. It's not an adversarial conversation. The point is, it's the number one cause of fights in relationships, the number one cause of divorce. And if you don't want to have that happen to you again, you want to talk about it. So the setting doesn't matter so much as the spirit or the intention that you come to the conversation with.
So you shouldn't do this in the front window of Tiffany's. You should probably move it to some more low-key place. Like in your house, a Sunday afternoon.
Sitting out on the park while you're having a walk. You could
Okay.
be in front of the TV.
So what are you fessing up now? You have to lay it on the table. You tell a guy everywhere how you stand financially and expect the same from him, every last tidbit of information?
Well, the suggestion that my co-author Sharon Kadar and I have is this. We say, get financially naked. And what we mean by that is if you're willing to take your clothes off with each other in one way, you want to take your clothes off with each other financially. And specifically, we say you should try and exchange a list of what you own, what you owe, and what your credit scores are, because that gives you a sense of where each of you are starting.
Do relationships end on that exact same day often?
Good ones will not, because the idea is you're not judging somebody by this. You're both just trying to understand from where you come so that you can build a good foundation for a healthy relationship together.
What if his score is lower than yours?
That's all right. It's a great time for you to sit and talk about how money was discussed when you were growing up, what were some of the behaviors that might have led to that credit score. And guys actually like this. They don't want to have to bear all the burden for personal finance themselves.
Okay, so you're naked, financially naked, and discussing money, and you have a checklist. You have a list and take notes?
Well, I suggest that you start off with just 3 simple things, which is what you own, what you owe, and your credit score. So hopefully, unless you're really nervous, you can remember the 3 things or maybe write them down in the palm of your hand, but a checklist might be a bit much.
Should a woman at this point keep at least some money private from the guy?
When you say private, do you mean not tell him about it, or?
You tell me.
Well, I think that any relationship is built on trust and security, but I think it is important for women to have some autonomy. So, for instance, I would suggest whether you're dating or you're married, a woman should always have a credit card in her own name, always have an IRA where she's saving for retirement in her own name, and I think it's also a good idea for women to think about having a savings account all through their lives that has some money. For years, women called it pin money. There's a historical reason why that existed.
So now you have a new potential relationship. How do you divvy up the income for the bills? Do you have a strategy or a formula you want to suggest?
Yeah, so there are 2 basic strategies, joint or what we call the financial 3-way, yours, mine, and ours. And there's not really a right or wrong answer. It's kind of like, do you want to have kids and how many? It's a very personal issue. But there are some strategies that can help keep you from wanting to poke each other's eyes out. And on joint accounts, really the key is if you choose to go that route, you want to have a dollar amount above which you both agree to consult each other before spending, and a dollar amount that you each are free to spend, no questions asked, so you each feel like you have some autonomy.
And you think this will keep the next marriage or relationship sound?
Well, if you do this in conjunction with all sorts of other important things,
You have a better shot.
This is a great way to increase your odds.
On myown2feet.com is the website where you can find out more of topics like this. And Manisha Thakor, thank you so much for being with us. You're always so smart with all the right answers. Thank you.
It'd be great to be here.